What's cracking, everybody? It's Tuesday. It's a random live day. Just decided to throw on a little live stream here, see who's online, see who's hanging out. Just gonna hang out here and kind of do my thing. I'm doing a bit of work right now, so I will do. All right. Attaching. Yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of random work here right now. So I'm throwing this on to see what's happening, what's going on with everybody. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff's been happening the last week or so for all my gaming people out there. The whole Call of Duty thing that has blown up, which is, quite frankly, it's sad. It really is sad. I think really companies need to realize that jumping in on social agendas, political agendas, and politics in general is universally a bad idea. It just is. It's a bad idea. You've got to, stick with just doing business. Number one, everybody knows you're never going to make everybody happy. So you might as well make everybody universally unhappy by not addressing things and not getting involved, and have people get pissed off at you for not getting involved in things. Because quite frankly, from the looks of things, people are going to get more pissed off at you for getting involved. My own personal beliefs aside, attaching and going looking at any issue whatsoever from the standpoint of business, you as a small business owner myself, you never want to piss anybody off, but it's very, very difficult to do that in general. It's almost impossible to never piss people off. But the reality is, you have to weigh the people that you are going to piss off. You have to weigh that against each other. If you, like I said, if you stay neutral and you just don't address it whatsoever, you don't jump into things, you don't say anything. Generally, you're basically not going to have a problem. You're going to stay. You're going to avoid conflict. You're going to avoid people going on your Twitter accounts and blasting you, or your social media accounts and blasting you for whatever. But man, what a crazy few days. I know today the big thing in the news today is Donald Trump's getting indicted. Whoop-de-doo, who gives a shit anymore? Politics and politicians, especially in the United States, is such a shit show right now. I think if you watch the Wednesday live show, you typically know that I believe most politicians should be fired. It's a train wreck. This country is a train wreck. Inflation is terrible. Everything costs too much. They're allowing people to do whatever the hell they want all of the time. We're not prosecuting criminals anymore. Matter of fact, companies like Lululemon fire their employees for trying to stop people from stealing stuff, which is just simply pathetic. Since when do we allow this kind of nonsense to happen? You got people on YouTube that are making videos, going into Walmarts and just walking through the aisles, eating food, and basically nothing happens to them, but they're just out there promoting this. It's just it's bad. It's bad for everybody. It's bad for society. It's bad for everyone across the board. If we don't have rules to live by, then we have anarchy. And if we have anarchy, everything falls to pieces. It sucks. But anyhow, some other news. I noticed that Horizon Fest had their Horizon had their Horizon Fest event over the weekend, and kind of surprised at why that event doesn't draw more attention, more people I haven't seen much in the way of YouTube videos of people that were there. And maybe it's just the fact that people were there. They haven't gotten home to start editing and throwing their footage together. Yes, sir, barbecue. This is just random. It was just random Tuesday. I happened to be sitting here in between doing some stuff for work and doing some stuff here at my desk, and I just decided to throw a live stream up and say happy Tuesday to everybody. So yeah, why the heck not? But yeah, Horizon Fest. I don't because it's sort of Horizon Fest is everything RC. They got boats, they got planes, they got bashers, they got crawlers, they a little bit of everything there. And you would think it would draw a lot of attention, probably because it's in the middle of Illinois. Probably has something to do with it, and not exactly easy to get there. Hey, Nixter. People to do something about it have their hands tied because these days criminals have. Yeah, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that is the biggest problem, is that people who can do something about it aren't. And there's not a whole bunch of motivation there for people to do something about it. Hey, Mr. Moorhead. Yeah, I do. I think, unfortunately, when it comes to RC events, there isn't really a good location. Good to see you too, Nixter. Always a pleasure. Yeah, unfortunately, there isn't really a good location. The United States, we have such a wide span here. It's difficult for you to put something where pretty much everybody can get to it. I thought that Badlands was a pretty good spot for holding the Axial Fest. Hey, Thompson. But I mean, Badlands in the middle of summer. Midwest, middle of summer is not exactly the best time and place to hold an event. But even at that, East Coast people don't seem to be drawn as much to the Badlands as I would think. The USTs in Florida, that's at the other the opposite end of the country, is like Proline by the Fire, and USTE seems to draw a pretty good crowd. I know Beat the Greek draws a pretty good crowd, but I think events in general in the United States seem to not do as well as like what I've seen from the scale events and stuff in like Germany. It's absolutely insane. They have these giant warehouses where they set up these incredible dioramas and everything, so that the semi truck guys can drive around in there, and the construction guys and all of that. And yeah, it's crazy. But man, it's good to see everybody in here hanging out. Like I said, this is just kind of a random Tuesday thing. It's going to be pretty short because I am still technically at work. I just kind of happen to be in between some stuff, and I was taking a break and eating a sandwich. And I've been listening to some news stuff, and I've been listening to some podcasts and stuff. And I kind of just wanted to throw my 2 cents in about the Call of Duty thing before tomorrow's show, so I don't want to eat up too much of tomorrow's show with video game junk. But yeah, I think Activision kind of stepped in it. I think a lot of companies that are going woke here are making huge mistakes. I don't think it's a good idea. Look at how much Disney has suffered from the decisions that they've made, and even what they've suffered since they started their little fight down there in Florida. I think I was always taught growing up that you don't fight the government. That's a losing battle. But I guess if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you kind of play by different rules and whatnot. But even at that, it seems like Disney is learning kind of a tough lesson that the state of Florida is going to slap them around a little bit. Knows Californians are mad all day long now. No one is happy. I mean, it's I kind of understand why. I know why I moved out of California, and I know if I still lived in California that I would be quite unhappy about being there, about living there. I don't know. I don't understand why Gavin Newsom got reelected. There were multiple other choices that were much better than him, but the political machine in California is full of nepotism. It is absolutely probably as corrupt as you could possibly be as far as the state is concerned. I know 2 years ago they're bragging about budget surplus and all this money, and now 2 years later you got a budget deficit, and how can that be? I think you hit the nail on the head, Earl. I think more people agree with one another than they think. I think the division in this country is very, very, very much false. I don't think people disagree with as many things as they think they do. But it's easier to get things done when we're focused on being mad at one another rather than focused on the shady shit that's happening all over the place. Yeah, like I said, you get the Trump indictment today, which is the news is going absolutely batshit crazy over, but there's other things that are happening in the realm of Washington, D.C. that are far more important than Donald Trump storing some boxes in his bathroom. I mean, there appears to be pretty clear evidence that there's been quite a bit of bribery going on around, and that seems like a kind of a big deal. Considering plenty of other people have got boxes full of crappy old documents from Washington, D.C. laying around in their garages and their houses and places in that sort, then potentially high-placed member of the Washington, D.C. establishment who's been known as a corrupt person for a long time is getting bribes thrown at him left and right, and his family's making tons of money. Seems like that should be more important to people, but the guy who said mean things on Twitter. But the other good one that I liked the other day was the fact that they tried to make a big deal out of like 8 guys standing in front of the Walt Disney World sign holding Nazi flags. That also bore a strange resemblance to other situations where it clearly looks like people are dressing up to look like something that they're not. Yeah, I was reminded again this morning of of a particular person on a particular day when there was the insurrection, who was in Washington, D.C., who was yelling and screaming for people to break into the Capitol building, who was running around filming, who actually got paid by CNN for his footage inside the Capitol. And he was wearing a costume that day. But that all doesn't matter, because we need to get to ensure that Donald Trump can't run for president again, because he's not a nice man, and he's not a good person. Yeah, writers strike flags look like the flag as well. Yeah, unfortunately, the writer strike. I I I particularly have very little sympathy for writers wanting to be paid more money and to get more cut of the streaming money and whatnot. Because quite frankly, the entertainment industry has suffered from a lack of talent in writing for a bit. It's sad. I'm a big movie guy. Always liked movies. Always been a fan of movies, and I can't remember a movie that has come out in the past several years that even sparked enough interest in me to even want to rent it on Amazon Prime, let alone go to a movie theater and pay a buttload of money to watch it. And going to the movie theater was at one point, it was an event. It was something to do. It was an evening out with, your friends or your family. And nowadays it's what Fast and Fast and Furious 99. And I believe in the Fast and Furious, they're trying to bring back like a digital Paul Walker, which is, Saint Paul Walker. I hate the fact that they've made such a big deal out of Paul Walker, and they have hidden the fact that, unfortunately, Paul Walker was involved with an A minor for a good number of years. He was not exactly the saint that everybody made him out to be, which is pretty sad. I liked the first Fast and Furious movie. Actually, I liked probably the first three. I even liked Tokyo Drift. I thought Tokyo Drift was actually pretty entertaining, but the second one, I think, was where they were in Miami. That one was pretty good. And, Paul Walker is a likable guy, and you hate to say something bad about somebody after they're dead, but I don't like the fact that we do this all the time with people after they're dead. You're not allowed to say anything, and you make people out to be great people because you don't want to say anything bad about them because they're gone. Which I was sad. I heard that Treat Williams died in a motorcycle accident, which that's kind of sad. He's one of those people in Hollywood that you didn't really hear very much about. And I've always said that those are usually the most normal of the actors and actresses in Hollywood are the ones that you don't hear that much about. They like to keep their private life private. So yeah, he was the bad guy in a movie that I actually, guilty pleasure, I still watch. I still like it, called The Phantom. And it's a kind of a cheesy movie, but I do like it. And it's kind of the same reason I like the National Treasure movies as well. And I know everybody kind of beats up on poor Nicolas Cage for his choice of movies, but sad news. Treat Williams passed away in a motorcycle. Especially don't like seeing when people get killed riding motorcycles. Being a rider at one point myself, I know how inherently dangerous they can be, even when there aren't a bunch of people around that are staring at their phones or their GPS or doing anything else but driving. And I don't know the circumstances of what happened. I just heard that he had passed away, and he had gotten in a crash with another car or a car. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to keep this one short. I took my a little break from work here today. just to hang out. Tomorrow night, me and JB will be banging away here at 5:30 Eastern time. So you'll have a great rest of your day, great rest of your afternoon, and I will see all you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me for 20 minutes on my little work break here. See you guys later.